Hello and welcome to Adventure Planet, where today I have driven north to Staffordshire to come and visit what is my favourite theme park here in the UK, the Alton Towers Resort. Now, Alton Towers is a Merlin-owned attraction and actually started life as a theme park all the way back in 1980, but actually has a long and illustrious history dating back several centuries when you start taking into account the ruins here and the gardens and kind of the surrounding areas. Now, it all sits on quite a huge plot of land, 900 plus acres, so it's a pretty huge park. We've got 10 roller coasters here, one of which, the Smiler, obviously sets the record for the number of inversions, 14 on that beast. So it's a pretty intense coaster, that one. We also have other famous coasters here, such as Nemesis, the B&M invert, and Oblivion, the B&M dive coaster, which at the time was a world first for that vertical drop on that coaster. So looking forward to getting on those again. We also got the retro squad that are still here today, operating this season. Hopefully, anyway, I know they've suffered a little bit of downtime lately, but hopefully they're still good to go for today. We're going to be taking a look at all the areas around the park, including Mutiny Bay, the world of David Walliams, Seabibi's land, and all the rest of it, see what's changed for the 2022 season. £42 I paid for my ticket today, along with £6 to park my car. It is a Sunday, so expecting it to be pretty busy today. All those reservations for park entrance fees and all that kind of stuff can be done nice and easily using the Alton Towers app. Park hours today, 10 AM through till 6 PM, so 8 hours of operations. I'm going to start with, of course, the famous Towers Street just after the entrance here. Let's get into the park and see what we can find that's changed. Love Alton Towers, it's going to be a good one. Enjoy. Welcome to Alton Towers. Let's go. Just before you get to the entrance to Alton Towers, though, we have this large piece of historical significance here. The double inversion, the corkscrew of what used to be the Corkscrew roller coaster, the first roller coaster to be at Alton Towers here in 1980. It was actually removed in 2008 to make way for bigger and better things, of course. But this actually is from the Corkscrew roller coaster. They decided to honor the ride by keeping its inversions, painting them blue for some reason, which I'm not quite sure about. Obviously the Corkscrew was a yellow roller coaster, so I'm not quite sure why they decided on the blue track here. A little bit strange, but otherwise it looks pretty good. In my opinion, is a nice way to honor what was once a classic ride. Obviously 13 now sits on the site of the Corkscrew. Fantastic ride this, though. Rode it many times. Obviously it did start to get a little bit rough at the end of its 28-year life. Manufactured by Vekoma, but it is still missed in this park. It really was a classic ride. It used to sit in what was known as Festival Park. Before that obviously changed to Ugland, and then that finally changed to what it is now, the Dark Forest, on the arrival of 13 back in 2010. There's a little plaque here if you are interested in kind of the stats and a little bit of information about it. Got some specs here: the lift height, the track length, power, base, velocity, and all that kind of stuff, and then obviously the manufacturer there, Vekoma. Nice way to remember it. Corkscrew 1980 to 2008 was Britain's first giant corkscrew roller coaster. And there you go. And that's what they've decided to keep right above the entrance of the park here. A nice little touch, I think. Anyway, let's head on in. And here we are then on Towers Street, just after the entrance at Alton Towers here. It's good to see these world famous frog fountains are still actually here. Now, I first visited Alton Towers all the way back in 1992. I was only 10 years old at the time, but these frog fountains were still there all the way back then. So it's great to see that they've kind of lasted the test of time and that they are still going. Obviously Towers Street, a beautiful entrance to the park here. You've obviously got the towers in the background there and the lake out the front. Really picturesque entrance to the park. And of course Towers Street has always looked really nice as well. Now, these buildings have kind of undergone several changes over the years, but it all still looks really nice. So you've got Towers Trading through there as well. That's about the only thing that has remained the same. All of these are currently closed off at the moment as well. You've got the main shop at the back there, and then that's where we came through at the entrance with the Corkscrew just peeking out over the top there. Nice and colourful, this street. Now, in terms of layout for Alton Towers, You obviously, like I say, you've got the Towers ruins in the back there. That, if you like, kind of sits in the middle of the park, with the rest of it kind of encircling that area. It's one big circle, really, if you take a look at the park map. So, bearing that in mind, what I'm going to do at the end of Tower Street here is take a left to visit our first area, which will be Mutiny Bay. Of course, you can take a right here and head towards Seabibi's land and Spinball Whizzer, which is what most people tend to do. However, I'm going to be taking a left and heading through to Mutiny Bay and then on to Gloomy Wood and the Forbidden Valley. So you've got the resort box office just up here. Beautiful summer's day here in the UK today. Like I say, we're expecting up to 25 degrees today, but there's also quite a nice breeze blowing as well, so should be just nice to keep me cool. And as you can see, Seabibi's land is just through here. And now, of course, what you'll find at the start of the day, people do have that choice of turning right or left here. And what you'll usually find is that people tend to rush either for Spinball Whizzer, which is just down this way, or the Wicker Man, which is just off of this way. So it would be my advice to avoid those rides first thing, and at the end of the day as well, as people try to get their last rides in as the park comes to a close. Try to avoid those. Your best bet, I would say, is to go to either Forbidden Valley or the Dark Forest first thing in the day. Yeah, the Towers ruins looks beautiful from here, right? And the lake at the back there. Of course, we still have the stage there, which is getting ready for some live entertainment throughout the summer. There's no events here at Alton Towers at the moment. Of course, we've just finished Mardi Gras. We had the Festival of Thrills back in April. No event now until Oktoberfest in September. However, they are getting this ready for, like I say, some live entertainment throughout the summer months. Oh, looking nice up here. Got some moving heads by the looks of it up there. And some lighting going in as well. Nice to see all the grass is still looking good here as well. And the towers that really do look great against that backdrop of the blue sky. Fantastic. All right, some chocolate and waffles over the back there. A little bit early for that, I think. Is it ever too early for chocolate and waffles? I don't know. Maybe. You win a husky dog there as well, perhaps? Now, of course, Mutiny Bay up here was rethemed to Mutiny Bay in 2008. It used to be Merry England, if anybody can remember it when it was that. It used to be kind of a very sort of British area, you know. You had the Union Jack flags and the bunting, and the Beefeaters used to be there, and of course you had the teacup ride, because us Brits love our tea apparently. That's now all been rethemed to Marauders Mayhem. The same ride, actually been there since 1986, but in 2008 was rethemed to fit in to Mutiny Bay. And of course the splash battle was all introduced as well. The swan boats were removed, and that was all introduced as part of Mutiny Bay as well in 2008. There's a quick look over the lake here towards Battle Galleons, a splash battle manufactured by Mack Rides. Like I say, opened in 2008 as part of the Mutiny Bay area when the swan boats were removed. And this is pretty much the only ride here at the park these days that will get you nice and wet. The rapids don't get you wet anymore. The rapids is nothing more than a lazy river these days. But this ride here will get you soaked. Obviously not very busy at the moment, it's first thing in the morning, but of course as today heats up, this is going to get a pretty long queue time, I suspect. Yeah, really nice theming around here. And of course, we've got the Mutiny Bay signage here, looks really good still. Let's head on in. Little bit of off-ride footage there then of Heave Ho, the little rocking tug, and Marauders Mayhem. As I said, the ex-teacup ride. Just as you're coming out of Mutiny Bay then, you do actually have Shark Bait Reef here. Now, this is a Sea Life Centre owned attraction. Not an upcharge, so you can get in there on your park entrance fee. And that actually sits on the old side of what used to be the 3D cinema. Really nice attraction, that, nice and well themed. And like I say, if you do enjoy your Sea Life Centres, that is very much worth visiting. If I do get time today, I will get in there and see if I can record some footage. But for now though, I'm going to head past there and head towards Katanga Canyon. And just before we get to that, we will take a quick look at the Wicker Man. New roller coaster for 2018. 4 years old now, but still Alton Towers' newest coaster here in the park. Some off-ride footage there then of GCI's 2018 roller coaster Wicker Man here at Alton Towers. Still the newest coaster at Alton Towers for the past 4 years. Great ride that, great pre-show, great effects, some really snappy elements and great theming throughout the ride and the queue line itself. Great to see Big Bob looking good back there with the screens and the fire effects. It looks really, really nice. Fantastic ride, that one. Anyway, I continue my journey towards Katanga Canyon and the River Rapids. Let's go. Yeah, just making my way down into Katanga Canyon there. Now, this area actually opened in 1992, along with the powered coaster, the Runaway mine train. Now, the rapids here actually opened in 1986 from Intamin, and then was kind of rethemed and refurbished when Katanga Canyon opened in 1992. They've kind of gone for sort of an African village here, which is, yeah, kind of see what they're going for, and it looks really good, and still looks really good even now, right the way down to 2022, 30 years later. Still looking pretty impressive. I think it's time for a soaker. Not going to get that on the rapids though. This really is just a lazy river these days, but we'll see, it might have changed for this season. Let's get on and take a look. Just got off my ride then off of the Congo River Rapids, and unfortunately there's still no change with that ride, and it's a real shame because 10 years ago you actually got pretty wet on that ride, but they seem to have turned the wave machines down quite a bit. The effects aren't working on there today, and it's just, it really is just a lazy river these days. Ridden so many better rapids than the ones here at Alton Towers, which really is, like I say, it really is a shame. We just need to turn those wave machines back up, you know, start getting people wet, especially on days like today where it's getting pretty hot already and it's not even the afternoon yet. Of course, we have the Runaway mine train here in Katanga Canyon as well. That is obviously Alton Towers' oldest roller coaster, built here back in 1992, the Mack Rides powered coaster. I'm going to get on that now, and just you know, to experience my favourite interaction between obviously the Rapids and the Runaway mine train, as you've seen on the off-ride footage there. Just as you go through the tunnel, both rides get the opportunity for a little bit of interaction and to kind of wave to each other and all that kind of stuff, which is always really fun to see. Gonna jump on the Runaway mine train now and see if that's got a little bit more intense maybe. I doubt it, but let's see. Fun ride this. Just got off my ride of the Runaway mine train then, and yeah, really classic ride that, and lots of pretty funny interactions with some pretty loud group of people on the rapids just as we were coming out of the tunnel there. Just heading further around the park now then, and I'm now in Gloomy Wood, about to check out Jewel, the haunted house. Now, the haunted house actually opened back in 1992, just as a normal haunted house. It was rethemed in 2003 to become Jewel, and since then, well, certainly last season at any rate, this ride is kind of falling into a little bit of disrepair really. It really is not looking in the best shape, and to be fair, it hasn't done for the past few seasons. Even before the pandemic, it was looking pretty grotty, certainly in kind of like the exit lines and even in the queue lines itself, kind of once you actually get into the house itself. Now, there has been talk and rumours lately that this is going to be undergoing a major refurbishment. Now, I hope that is true, and I hope that they kind of revert this back to a standard haunted house. I don't get me wrong, I love a good interactive dark ride, but I think haunted houses should stay as haunted houses. You know, I think when they brought the Jewel aspect of this in with the guns and the targets kind of thing, it took away a little bit from the haunted house. I mean, it's like putting a shooting element in the haunted mansion in Magic Kingdom. You know, you just wouldn't do it. And I think personally, a haunted house should be a haunted house. You get in, you sit back, you relax, you take in the theming, the sights, the lore, you know, and all that kind of stuff, and you know, you just get a little bit spooked, you know. I think having kind of gun, I know it's an optional thing, you don't have to pick up a gun, you don't have to shoot at targets, but obviously the audio's different and you've got people around you that are obviously, you know, shooting and all that kind of stuff. And I just think as a haunted house, it should just be a haunted house. So hopefully Alton Towers may do that. Maybe they're just going to go back. I mean, obviously technology has progressed so much since 1992. You could have a lot of brand new effects in there and make it really, really cool. And I'm hoping that that's kind of what they're going to be doing. We'll see. Hopefully next season, maybe the season after, we'll see some big changes in this area. But for now, I'm going to take a ride anyway, because it's always a lot of fun regardless. Let's ride Jewel. Well, just coming out of the haunted house then, and a pretty poor score of 30,000 exactly. And yeah, that ride is looking very tired now. A lot of the effects in there are not working. The vortex tunnel wasn't working, and even my gun stopped working for about 10 or 20 seconds halfway through the ride. So it's in need, if the rumours are correct and it is getting a refurb, either this season or next season, it is in dire need of it. Heading down to Forbidden Valley now though, and let's see how Nemesis is running today. Nemesis is going to be completely out next season, getting its full retrack. Can't hear it going at the moment. You usually hear that roar from a mile away. Of course, before we get to Nemesis itself though, we do still have Nemesis Subterra that's still located here in the park. Nothing's been done with this recently apart from a little bit of a cleanup in certain areas by the looks of things. There's been some movement around this kind of area, but this has actually been closed since 2015. This was a little underground drop tower from ABC Rides. And like I say, it's been closed for the past 7 years. It's been used a couple of times for Scarefests, but in terms of the actual ride, nothing really has happened here in the past 7 years. I'm curious to know whether this will actually reopen potentially as something during Nemesis's downtime next season, perhaps. Absolutely no clue, no indication from the park or from this side as of yet of anything that's going to happen anytime soon. But yeah, we'll keep an eye on it over the next few months. So here we are in Forbidden Valley then, and Nemesis, the 1994 B&M invert designed by John Wardley himself, and still coined the world's most intense ride experience. It really is a great ride, this one. Oh. Still looking really good. Still sounding really good. Unfortunately, that roar will certainly be a lot more subtle in the years to come as Nemesis undergoes its full retrack next season. Now, it's going to be... What a great noise. Always brings a smile to my face, that one. Now, in terms of the retrack, it is actually going to be going from the top of the lift hill all the way through to the brake run, and the ride does need it. It's approaching 30 years old, and it was either full retrack or removed from the park. Obviously, as classical as Nemesis is, it was never going to get removed. So a full retrack is what is going to be happening. Now with that full retrack, they are going to be looking at filling the supports, I believe, with sand or some other likewise material that is going to deaden that roar. Hopefully not completely, but it's certainly not going to have that same sound as it does currently. That's going to be next season. It will be closed at the end of the 2022 season, right the way through until the start of the 2024 season. So it's going to be down for a long time, and coming to Alton Towers and then them not having Nemesis is going to be very, very strange. Hopefully something will happen with the Subterra building next door to kind of alleviate that wait time a little bit, but we'll see. We'll see. Let's get on. And of course, Nemesis was actually the coaster that kicked off the whole secret weapon code names here at Alton Towers. Secret Weapon 1 and 2 were actually originally going to be pipeline coasters, but were deemed by John Wardley himself to be too slow and boring. So they were actually scrapped, and work on Secret Weapon 3 started to take place. And that is what would eventually become known as Nemesis, as the Beast. Such a classic ride, this. 4 inversions. Oh. And there it goes. Wondering if they are going to actually do any other re-theming as part of the retrack. We may see some new trains, perhaps. But it's going to be a huge job, this. And of course, the whole point of giving a ride a retrack is for health and safety reasons. Obviously, you've got to think 30 years of all the stress on the supports. As you know, as each train goes round, certainly taking the sharper turns and the, you know, the more snappy elements, really puts a lot of stress and strain. So of course, for safety reasons, retracks are required. Especially, like I say, this ride's approaching 30 years old now, so it definitely needs it. And as you can see from this view here, you can see how Nemesis is actually built into this pit to meet the very strict height requirement rules they've got here at Alton Towers, where no ride is actually allowed to be built above the tree line. And if that is actually the case, if a ride does go up to or above that tree line, it needs to be camouflaged in a way where it's not visible to anybody on the outskirts of the park, which you'll see when we come around to Rita a little bit later on. Some of the tracks at the top sections of Rita are actually painted green to try and kind of camouflage it in with that tree line. But yeah, just curious to know if they're actually going to do anything with the theming. Of course, the river of blood that used to run down here in the queue line with Nemesis used to be red, but unfortunately, due to environmental conditions, that had to be removed. We had a pretty strong rainstorm several years ago, which actually flooded this area, and some of the Red River, when it was actually removed from the flooding here, was put into a local reservoir, which of course is a little bit of a no-no, so that was all removed. Can be said that hasn't already been said about the legendary Nemesis here at Alton Towers. 50 miles an hour, 4 inversions, and still pulling 3.5 Gs. Really snappy, some great elements, and it's an amazing ride still. All these years later, such a fantastic ride. Although I gotta be honest, unpopular opinion I know, unpopular opinion I know, but I still do much prefer Inferno's layout. Although the theming and everything else might be better here with Nemesis, I do still prefer the layout to Nemesis Inferno, and I prefer the intensity of that ride as well. Like I say, it's an unpopular opinion. I'm sure in the comments people will be telling me I'm crazy, as they already have done in the past, but that's just my opinion. It is what it is. Anyway, I'm going to run further forward through Forbidden Valley now, approaching Galactica, see what the queue time's like for that ride, and have a look, see how busy the roller coaster restaurant is here in the park. Let's head on down. And just outside of Galactica then, we have the roller coaster restaurant. Now this is actually open past park closing time as well, so if you're staying at one of the hotels here, you can actually come on in a little bit later on in the evening, even after the park is closed, and grab yourself some food in here. It's fairly expensive, but it's a pretty fun way to eat your lunch and or dinner, with food being served on little roller coaster rails that you can watch coming down from the ceiling all the way down to your table. Really fun way to dine, and yeah, like I say, staying at the hotel, come down and have your evening meal here. I've eaten in here a couple of times and I can definitely vouch for the food. Like I say, a little bit expensive, but really good food served in here. A little bit of off-ride footage there then of Galactica here at Alton Towers, and this actually opened back in 2002 as Air, and it remained as Air all the way up until 2015 when it was rebranded Galactica and saw the introduction of VR headsets, which lasted through seasons 16, 17 and 18 before being removed in 2019, much to my satisfaction. Of course, when this opened back in 2002 as Air, it was another world exclusive for Alton Towers, being the only B&M flying coaster at the time. Obviously now in 2022 we still have the name Galactica and the kind of very space theme, even though VR was removed, like I say, several years ago now. So I'm kind of hoping that this has a little bit of another rebrand sometime soon. I love the Air moniker. I think it'd do great to go back to that. The Air merchandise, of which I own quite a bit of, sold very well here at the park, and I think personally it really suited the ride. I really do. I think the space theme is a little bit out of place here, especially in Forbidden Valley. It's like it needs its own section really of the park. It doesn't really fit here as it stands at the moment. Maybe turn it into like some kind of apocalyptic ride, you know what I mean? Kind of suit it like Nemesis. We are of course in Forbidden Valley after all, and Nemesis is obviously a very apocalyptic setting. So maybe rebrand it like that. What would you call it? What would you do? I don't know, but I think that would suit it really well. I think an apocalyptic theme would go down just great here. Oh, fantastic ride, Galactica. Looking really good today against that blue sky. Worth noting as well that just at the back here of Galactica, this is the other entrance to the park. Now, if you're staying at any of the Alton Towers hotels, this is where you will come in. So obviously, like I said earlier, with the roller coaster restaurant, you simply come in here, walk along, and then the roller coaster restaurant is just in this direction. Now, talking of hotels, there are a lot of choice and variety here at Alton Towers. You have the Alton Towers Hotel itself with its spa. You have the Splash Landings Hotel with its own water park. You have the Seabibi's Hotel, and you also have lodges and stargazing pods and tree houses and all that kind of stuff to take advantage of, all with their own themed rooms and all pretty reasonably priced. And like I say, if you are staying there, you get to come in from this entrance and be right in the heart of Forbidden Valley, right at the start of the day. Oh. And there goes Galactica. Absolutely superb. So yeah, like I say, if you are looking at doing perhaps a 2-day excursion at Alton Towers, you want to get the park done over 2 days, and you're looking at staying in a hotel, check out the Alton Towers website for all the details on the hotels there. Like I say, there's lots of other things to take advantage of, including an extraordinary golf course as well. So lots to see and do if you do decide to stay here overnight. That's it for Forbidden Valley though, so I'm going to circle back around and head towards the towers. Little bit of off-ride footage there then of Funk and Fly, one of the Retro Squad rides found in the park here in Forbidden Valley. There's obviously 4 of those dotted around the park. You've got Roller Disco in the Dark Forest, you've got Spin Jam in X Sector, and you've got Flavio's in the world of David Walliams. They suffer a little bit, those rides, because they are in essence fairground rides, so they're not actually built to sustain the constant usage that occurs in theme parks. So they have suffered a little bit of downtime recently, and I have heard that Roller Disco is actually currently down now as we speak. So that's a little bit of a shame, but hopefully that'll be back up a little bit later on. Just making my way out of Forbidden Valley now then, and this is the Blade, a swinging ship that actually sits in the pit that was once occupied a long time ago by a shuttle loop coaster called Thunderlooper. That was removed back in 1996 and actually operates today in a park in Brazil under the name Catapult. So it's nice to know that that ride is still actually going. I went on that back in 1992, and I remember it featured an old weight drop launch. I believe it was a 30 or a 40-ton weight that was used to actually propel the coaster from 0 to 60 in 2.5 seconds. It was my first launch coaster that I had ever been on. And oh, that brings back some memories. But yeah, that actually used to sit in this pit here that runs along and right along here. Like I say, 1996 it was removed, but the pit still remains, and the Blade now takes up residence in it to this day. Now, unfortunately, I've just found out that the Sky Ride today is actually closed here at Alton Towers, which is very unfortunate. It means, obviously, I now have to scale the entirety of this 910-acre park, which is, on a day like today, it's going to give me a little bit of a workout, I'll be honest. But I thought I'd take a trip through the lovely gardens here, as you can see. Now, usually the Sky Ride would be operating in Forbidden Valley, that takes you to Mutiny Bay at the entrance of the park, or to the towers, and every single direction today is closed, unfortunately, which is a real shame. So it means I'm having to take a little bit of a walk through the gardens here, which is fine. You know, it's nice. The Alton Towers gardens here are absolutely fantastic, really beautiful to look at, really scenic, and of course, like I said in the intro, have a lot of history behind them, dating back several centuries. I'm going to head over towards the ruins themselves now and check out Hex and the surrounding gardens and conservatories. Yeah, it always looks really impressive, this, especially on a beautiful day like today. Really fantastic scenery. I have to be honest, every time I come to Alton Towers, I don't often take the opportunity to really appreciate the gardens and the towers here. The towers more so, but the gardens are so big and sprawling that, you know, on a day when you're kind of rushing to do rides, you know, you don't often come here to really kind of take it all in. But it really is a spectacular place, this. Obviously the towers are just through the back here. And obviously the towers were actually once a stately home here, owned by the Talbot family until 1924. And obviously they are what give the park its name. Unfortunately, they are just ruins now and in pretty much a state of disrepair. Although, having said that, refurbishment work is currently taking place. Obviously the entrance to Hex, the 2000 Vekoma Madhouse is found there. And there's also a scare maze featured in the basement in the ruins during Scarefest events, which is always fun. Although, of course, Scarefest at Alton Towers, certainly for the past couple of seasons, has left a lot to be desired. It's actually one of their weaker events these days. Hopefully they do kind of look at improving it over the next few seasons. But yeah, lovely area this. And there we are, there's the towers just to our left there. Obviously people taking advantage of sitting in the shade today and perhaps having a picnic or two. To be perfectly honest, kind of jealous. It's approaching 2 o'clock and I've yet to have any lunch of any sort, so I'll have to see if I can grab myself some lunch. Hey! And there we are, there's a group having a nice little picnic over the back there. Yeah, really nice. And here we are on approach to X Sector then, with that Smiler audio blasting out. Of course, X Sector is home to the Smiler, Oblivion, Enterprise and Spin Jam. Wow, they've really pumped the volume up since last season. And there she is. What a sight. Of course, you've got the vertical lift hill up here. The serpent roll here. And 13 other inversions. It is a beast, this one. But a fantastic ride. Manufactured by Gerstlauer, using their Infinity model. And there she goes up the vertical lift hill right now. Oh, can't wait to get on. Of course, the Smiler here sits on the site that was once occupied by the Black Hole. Now, the Black Hole actually still operates to this day as a rocket over in Furuvik, Sweden. So if you do still want to ride the Black Hole, you still can, although it's not in the dark anymore. It's actually out in the open. Nice Schwarzkopf roller coaster if you want to get yourself over to Sweden and involved with that one. It is worth noting, if you are coming here to Alton Towers, the Smiler is the only ride that actually accommodates single riders. So if you are, like me, coming down on your own, or you don't mind your party being split up, you can actually take advantage of the single rider line, which will save you quite a bit of time. Current wait time for the Smiler is 60 minutes. Usually for the single rider, you can knock off at least 2/3 of that time. So let's go, single riders only. Let's do it. my ride off the Smiler then. Oh my, yeah, yes, the Smiler. This way, apparently that's how I'm supposed to get off the ride. Turns out I'm just grimacing because of my damn back. Wow. Row 4 I ended up on the Smiler, and let me just say, for your sake, anybody that's watching this, do not ride the Smiler on row 4. It hurts, it's painful, okay? Trust me on that one. Anyway, the Smiler, still a fantastic ride. It's not a ride that's in my top 10 purely because, yes, it holds the record for the most number of inversions in a ride at 14. However, it's because of that it doesn't make it into my top 10, because all it is inversion after inversion after inversion. There's not really any other elements to it. Yes, the theming is great. It's got the vertical lift hill and things like that as well, and obviously the whole marmalization thing is kind of cool. But in terms of actual layout, some of the inversions there are really cool, especially those last two, and obviously the serpent roll as well. Really, really, really nice. But I like my coasters to have at least some other elements, you know. It just feels like the Smiler is just a whole heap of tangled metal, you know, that's been turned into a ride. Hence it's not in my top 10. However, superb ride though, and of course if you want to ride a world record breaker, come down to Alton Towers, ride the Smiler, 14 inversions, and get coming off really dizzy. Fantastic. And here we are at Spin Jam then, another retro squad ride here in X Sector. A nice Tivoli Extreme, nice and intense this one. Standing on the site that used to be occupied by Submission back in the day.
Put your hands in the air if you want to go.
Great ride. Just got off my ride then, off of Spin Jam here, the 2022 Tivoli Extreme here in the park that actually replaced Mixtape that used to be here before. Like I say, this was the new Retro Squad ride for 2022, and I gotta say, that ride packs a punch. That is nice and intense, especially in that second section of the ride. A lot more intense than Orbiter at Breen that I rode a couple of weeks ago. Really, really fantastic ride. Not one to go on if you don't like intense rides. Really does go to your legs, that one. It is pretty savage. And just across from Spin Jam then we have Enterprise, which unfortunately is still closed. And not only is it closed, but it is not looking like it's in a great state at the moment. We have a look over the fence here. I mean, that is not looking good. The gondolas have been removed, and the framework just looks really like it belongs in a scrap heap, which is a real shame because I had a lot of love for this ride. Now, Alton Towers haven't officially said that this ride is being removed, but as you can see, it's not looking in the best state at the moment. Just heading down the queue line then of Oblivion. Looking forward to getting back on this. First time in just over a year. Always love a good B&M dive coaster. Actually not ridden one since Shikra back at Busch Gardens earlier this year. Now, of course, I remember before Oblivion was here, when this used to be called Fantasy World, there used to be an old ride called Gravitron here, manufactured by Vekoma, now resides in Barry Island in Wales. So it is actually still going. And I remember going on that ride as a kid. You know, one of those rides where you stick to the wall. I remember thinking it was the best ride here at the time. Way back in 1992.
It means that they have 0 G.
The Lord of Darkness. Oh, what a view. Just got off my ride on Oblivion then, and it's still such a fantastic ride that really, really does hold its classic status here in the park. Of course, as dive coasters go, this opened back in 1998, So the layout for Oblivion is actually really short. There are much better layouts out there worldwide now for dive coasters from B&M. However, at 87.5 degrees vertical drop and 180 feet tall, you still can't beat a bit of Oblivion. Fantastic ride. Just got myself some lunch then over at the Just Chicken behind me here in X Sector. Got myself a nice boneless meal. That's 6 breaded chicken strips, some fries and a regular soft drink. Nothing too special, so I thought I wouldn't film it. But £9.50, not too bad, fills the hole just in time for me to get back on the Smiler for my second go. So unfortunately, Hex Legend of the Towers is closed today, which is a real shame. And I've actually seen some considerable downtime lately. I actually was expecting the ride to be open today, but it looks like it's closed again. So that's a little bit of a disappointment. So I've come through the ruins here into the back of the world of David Walliams here, and this is of course the Cuckoo Cars drive-in school. Looks pretty fun. Not quite as good as the one found in Legoland, I'll admit, but fun nonetheless. Not a ride for me though, unfortunately, so I will head past this one. And there we are. If you take anything away from this vlog whatsoever, please let it be known that there is a farting drop tower here at Alton Towers. In the wonderful world of David Walliams. We got the Royal Carousel here, and the third of the Retro Squad rides, Flavio's Fabulous Fandango, which of course is just your regular twister. Great area though this, really nice and colourful. Was actually due to open back in 2020 but was delayed due to the pandemic. So opened at the following season. Used to be Cloud Cuckoo Land here and is now all based on David Walliams' children's books featuring Gangster Granny, the ride just through here. You got Raj's shop there as well. Yeah, all really nice colours. Little photo op there. A nice little entranceway there. Hey, it's not a huge area, of course, but it's a nice area for the kids for sure. And just in terms of location then, you've got the entrance to David Walliams' world just there. Just to the left of that entrance you have the Alton Towers dungeon. Now yes, they do have the dungeons here. Now unfortunately this one, unlike the Sea Life Centre, this one is not included in your park ticket. This is an upcharge at £10 or £8 if you book it in advance online. Now I have done it, it's probably worth doing the once. However, I do find it a little bit cheeky that it's not included in your regular ticket price. A little bit of a shame. I'm going to be skipping that now. I've done it the once. I'm not going to do it again. I kind of think it's a little bit bad, really. I really do think that should be included in your park ticket. Got the burger kitchen over there. Well worth grabbing some dinner from in there if you're over this way during lunchtime. And of course we would have had the entrance to the Sky Ride here, only they are all closed, of course, which means people that may have some mobility issues could be having a bit of a bad day today. We're going to head straight through here though, through to the Dark Forest. So yeah, just walking down to the Dark Forest now, and I've got to say I'm really disappointed that Hex Legend of the Towers is closed. That is by far and away my favourite Vekoma Madhouse in the world, actually. It's a fantastic ride, tells the legends of the towers and all about the chained oak tree, which is actually a real place. So it's kind of partially true as well. And the audio, the theming of that ride and the story and all the lore behind it really, really makes that ride, in my opinion, the best Vekoma Madhouse in the world. So if you haven't ridden it yet, make sure you do. And here we are in the dark forest then, and Rita still looking pretty good. As we said before in this vlog, you can see certain parts of the track of Rita just here, and also here the highest points of the track actually painted green to meet those conservation requirements, as this part of the track here and just here used to be above this tree line. So it needed to be painted green just to kind of camouflage it in so that it wasn't visible from outside the park. A little bit of a fun fact for you there. And here she goes. Still quite a speedy launch that, a 0 to 60 in 2.5 seconds, so not quite as fast as Stealth, but still packs a good old punch. Those hydraulic launches always do. A little bit of off-ride footage there then of Roller Disco, the fourth and final Retro Squad ride that can be found here in the Dark Forest. It's good to see all of them up and running today. A little bit of trouble with Funk and Fly earlier in the day, but otherwise all four of these Retro Squad rides have been running today, which is really good to see. Like I say, they're not actually made to sustain all the ongoing operations throughout a typical day at a theme park. They are, of course, temporary fairground rides. So when, you know, it doesn't look good for Alton Towers when these rides go down, when these have actually been brought in to kind of save face a little bit from Alton Towers' severe lack of flat rides at the moment. Really hope Alton Towers does something about this next season, because I don't know obviously how long the retro rides are going to be here. They were here last season as well. But at the end of this season they could be going, we could be seeing a few new ones in perhaps, who knows. But Alton Towers do really need to get on top of their flat ride situation here. It is looking pretty bare at the moment. So just joining the queue line for 13 then. It's an hour's wait for this one, but it's such a classic. Again, this was a world first at the time of opening back in 2010. The world's first multi-dimensional coaster, if you want to call it that, with a free-fall drop towards the end of the ride. Of course, both coasters here in the Dark Forest, manufactured by Intamin. Rita opened back in 2005, while 13 opened back in 2010. So next year, it will actually be its 13th birthday. Will they do something special for the ride? Who knows? But of course, this ride, this whole site here, is what used to be the Corkscrew. Now I'm not quite sure where Corkscrew used to stand in relativity to this area here, but it was certainly around here somewhere. All nice and spooky. Just got off my ride on 13 then, the Intamin coaster found in the Dark Forest. Like I say, 12 years old now, that ride, and it still is such a great family coaster that I really do love it. And I wanted to get on because I couldn't quite remember whether the freefall drop in 13 was as forceful as the one found on Hagrid's in Islands of Adventure over in Florida. And I have to say, That one is more powerful. It is definitely more intense, that drop there. I kind of forgot how intense that drop actually is. Really, really good ride. That nice elements, great theming, good queue line. The Tesla coil wasn't working in the queue line, which was a little bit of a shame. That does a good job of making people jump out of their skin on more than one occasion during the queue for that ride. It also was not 60 minutes, nowhere near. I only queued for about 20 minutes to get on that ride. So kind of over-exaggerated queue times here a little bit today. Having said that, for a Sunday, it's actually not been too bad today for crowds. A lot less busy than I was expecting. Obviously, we're at the time of year now where, you know, we're mid-July. We're kind of around the time now where actually days midweek are going to be just as busy, if not busier, actually, than the weekends. Obviously, most schools and colleges and universities are out already. For those that aren't quite yet out, you have to think that there's going to be school trips and stuff for those schools that haven't quite yet finished. So that's the only risk of coming to this park on a weekday. I thought seeing a Sunday was a little bit cheaper as well. I thought Sunday might be a little bit quieter than a day in the week, and that's actually proven to be pretty correct today, so I'm pretty happy with that. I am just on my way now to go over towards Seabibi's land, grab a ride on Spinball Whizzer, which I've not done yet today, and we'll take a little look around Seabibi's land as well before kind of heading towards the end of the park and wrapping up today's vlog. It's been a good day today. Still more to see yet though. Let's go. A little bit of off-ride footage there then of Spinball Whizzer, the Maurer spinning coaster which opened here in the park in 2004. From 2010 to 2015 it actually had a license with Sega and Sonic the Hedgehog and was actually Sonic Spinball up until 2015 before it reverted back to the Spinball theme standard. Really, really good ride that though, nice and intense, lots of screams going on there as you could tell from the off-ride footage. I think there was I'm not sure if the woman was actually pregnant before she got on, but I think she's actually having kids at the moment in the station. She was screaming loud. That was hilarious. Really good ride that, and like I say, try to avoid it at the start of the day and at the end of the day. Try and get down here sort of around, I don't know, mid-afternoon, I guess, if you want to get a ride on that. It's not too bad at the moment, 30 minutes, but as we get towards the end of the day in the last hour, that will tend to spike a little bit. So get on that one. Best time, kind of early to mid-afternoon would be my suggestion. Great ride. And the last area to take a look in around the park then is Seabibi's land. There we are. It's Postman Pat's parcel force just here. Or parcel post, I'm not quite sure. Got some sheep in the background there. And there we go. A little run along in Postman Pat's van. Yeah, very nice. Of course this area is obviously made for the very young children. All based on rides and shows based on Seabibi's programs. A couple of new areas around here for 2022. Got Jojo and Gran Gran at home, and also Hey Dougie's Big Adventure Badge, which is a massive playground for the kids, where Dougie himself puts in an appearance. It's actually a really nice area this. Opened back in 2014 and replaced the old storybook land that used to be here, which featured Squirrel Nutty's ride. Ah, parcel post. Of course it was. Justin's House Pyamatic Factory there, just to the right of that, is of course where you'll find Jojo and Gran Gran at home. All takes place just around the back there. Then we got In the Night Gardens magical boat ride just up the front here. Actually a nice little ride that. I even got involved myself on that one last season. I'm not going to tell you just how awkward I felt, but yeah, you got to do these things. Nice area this, nice and colourful. Got theming on the floor here as well. And of course, yeah, we also have the Seabibi's Land Hotel here, looking at altontowers.com. And that gives you some idea of the kind of themed rooms that they have in the Seabibi's Hotel there. Like I say, lots of choice and, you know, variety when it comes to hotels and ways to have a, you know, an overnight stay here at the park. Yeah, nice little area this. Andy's Adventures Dinosaur Dig is the other new attraction for 2022. We got a couple more of these frog hopper rides as well. Much like in the world of David Walliams, here's this Peter Rabbit's Hippity Hop. There we are. And just around here then, all this area here is Hey Dougie's Big Adventure badge. Massive play area here with the soft floor, lots of slides, various apparatus, and really great theming in here as well. And just over in the back there, in the kind of yellow section, is usually where Dougie himself would be hanging out. Oh, there he is. There he is through there. Hey, Dougie. I'm surprised he's still out. We're kind of getting towards park close time now. So this area does kind of peter out a little bit at this kind of time. So if you do have kids and want kind of a less chaotic session here in Seabibi's Land, it's worth waiting towards the end of the day to come here. Go Jetta's Vroomster Zoom ride there. There you go. Hey Dougie, Big Adventure badge. We've also got a Zamperla coaster here. Octonauts, opened here in 2015. And the Fairchester Hotel live there. Go see some live shows. Yeah, of course, that's the track going along there that used to be Squirrel's Nutty Ride. Also got the Big Fun Showtime there. Hey Dougie live, Bing live, Teletubbies live there as well. I'll just take you through here and give you a bit of a look. Here you got the stage at the front here. And this usually has seating all around here, but obviously they've taken that away because it's the end of the day here. There's some toilets in the back there, some tents, and then the exit or entrance just at the back there. Yeah, really fun area this. And here's the Octonauts roller coaster adventure then, 2-lap special. Opened in the park in 2015 from Zamperla. Nice little water spray, but that feels refreshing today.
Okay, everybody, say
Seaweed. Yeah, nice little ride that. Good bits of theming around the coaster here. Big whale in the centre. Coloured nice and blue. And they go up the lift hill for the second lap. This actually sits on the site of what used to be the Alton Beastie. And this replaced that back in 2015. Yeah, nice little ride that. So as it's coming towards the end of my day here at Alton Towers, I thought I would just pop into Towers Trade-In, and they sell this mega resin in there for £38, and I thought it was pretty cool, so I thought I'd pick it up. It's got all the rides, all the main coasters on there. You got Galactica, you got the Smiler, Wicker Man, Rita, Nemesis, 13 and Oblivion on there. which I thought was actually pretty cool for £38. I do like picking up, you know, the odd ride resin every now and again. I thought this mega resin was a pretty good kind of culmination of all the decent coasters here in Alton Towers. So yeah, I thought that was worth £38. Pride of place in my living room, that'll go. And there we go then. That is going to be wrapping up my vlog here from the Alton Towers Resort here in Staffordshire in the UK. And what can I say? I've had another fantastic day here. I've never had a bad day at Alton Towers. The operations are always pretty good here in the park, and it's always gone pretty smoothly. Today, lots of rides done today, including the big ones, Nemesis, Oblivion, The Smiler, also some of the Retro Squad rides with Funk and Fly and Spin Jam, and also a couple of flat rides as well, like Marauders Mayhem. All really good fun, and it's been a beautiful day today as well to really help the day go through smoothly. Also had some good food at Just Chicken in X Sector. That filled a hole. I was starting to get a little bit hungry again now. It is park closing time now. It's just gone 6 o'clock. I've decided to take a little bit of a sit down, a little bit of a rest just in front of the main stage here on the field just past Tower Street. And yeah, it's nice to just sit here and kind of take it all in. You can still see Battle Galleons are still going, obviously finishing up the last few rides of the day. So I just thought I'd take it easy before I start my 2.5 hour drive home. Alton Towers really is a fantastic park to visit. It remains absolutely my favourite park here in the UK. Really looking forward to seeing what they do in the future in terms of Jewel, especially. Looking forward to seeing what happens with that, see if they do revert it back to the haunted house. Like to see them bring back Enterprise or some kind of equivalent. That ride really doesn't look as if it's going to be coming back anytime soon. It looks, to me at least, like it's fit for the scrap heap, unfortunately, and that's really sad because I've had a lot of good memories on that ride, which, you know, so it is a bit of a shame to see it in that state, really. Otherwise, it's been great. I hope Hex, the issues that ride is apparently having, I hope that gets solved soon. It has had a lot of downtime lately, and that was the one big disappointment of today, was that Hex was closed, along with the Sky rides as well, which was also a little bit of a shame. Meant I had to do a lot more walking than I actually had planned, which cut down the amount I could actually film on the vlog today. Of course, doing a full park vlog here at Alton Towers is something of a challenge, because, like I say, it is such a huge park, and when the Sky rides are down, it does make it that much more difficult. That is it from me here at Alton Towers though today. Like I say, it's been a great day. If you've not visited Alton Towers before, absolutely, if you're vacationing to the UK, or if you live in the UK, wherever you are, make sure you make an effort to come and see Alton Towers. It really is fantastic. I would recommend, if you are doing it for the first time, maybe doing a 2-day at the park, possibly staying over at the hotel, either on site or somewhere pretty close by, so that you can really take your time and see everything that this park has to offer, because it really is fantastic. And like I say, it's not all about the rides here. You've got the Towers ruins and the gardens, which take some considerable time to walk around, and they are really beautiful to see. Definitely worth making an effort to see those as well. That's going to be it though from me at Adventure Planet and Alton Towers here in Staffordshire. I want to thank you so much for watching today's vlog. I'll be back in the next one, but until then, as always, happy riding everybody. See you in the next vlog.